Alright, what's going on, people? Lizard K Rule back with another video. Shout outs to everybody that's tuning in. White privilege. Before I go any further about the white privilege stuff, just so you know, if I sound a little off, it's because I'm recovering from a sore throat, so bear with me if you will. But nevertheless, white privilege. White privilege is something that I do believe exists, but don't get me twisted, it's not something that I think about daily. And I definitely don't believe it's a manipulator of my day-to-day life. However, I do acknowledge that there are some benefits to being a white individual. For example, white people really don't have to worry about store owners following them around the shop just to prevent them, or I should say, to make sure they're not stealing shit. Also, white people really, for the most part, are not going to get pulled over by the police randomly just because they're driving a really nice car. That's not really common for white individuals, but it's something very common for black males who tend to have that really spiffy, sexy ass ride. But I digress. However, what I can tell you isn't white privilege is a guy fucking sleeping in a row of seats on a goddamn airplane. But according to this blue check mark on Twitter by the name of Frederick Joseph, it is indeed a form of white privilege to be able to take up an entire row of seats on a plane. Now, like many of you, I'm sure, I have never heard of this Frederick dude a day of my goddamn life. So I had to do just a tiny bit of research to understand what this guy is about. And from what I can gather, this dude is your typical run-of-the-mill woke far leftist. He is a supporter and fan of perhaps the dumbest congresswoman currently in office, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. He supports the Me Too movement. He is the innovator of the Black Panther Challenge. He was on Forbes' list of under 30 for top influencers and businessmen in 2018. He's a race baiter from what I can tell, and he suffers from a serious victim complex. This cranberry juice is amazing, and honestly, my throat is feeling quite a bit better. I'm sorry. I'm being unprofessional as shit once again. In any event, here's a video from Now This News taken from last year that shows Mr. Frederick Joseph out there in Manhattan doing the Lord's work. Please do enjoy.
As a black man, I'm used to having eyes on me, and I've never felt like this in my entire life. Within a few days of posting the shirt story, if you would, I've received hate mail, death threats. People will say, oh, he's the N-word, or he's this, or he's that, go hang yourself. People don't actually understand things unless you somehow try to turn a mirror on them or ask them to walk in other people's shoes. My first reaction to the shirt was actually a guy who thought it was a Redskins shirt, I imagine, because his first thing he said to me was, "Go Skins." So, like any New Yorker, I simply said, nah. And he responded by calling me an asshole and kept walking. An older white woman actually stopped me and asked me why I was wearing this shirt. And I said to her, what's the problem with the shirt? She said, it's disrespectful. Why are you wearing such a disrespectful shirt? So I responded and said, if it was the actual team shirt or some other apparel from the team, would you be mad? She said no, because that's the logo and that's the brand, so I wouldn't be mad. There's a group of white guys across the street looking at me, no big deal, as they're walking across. One of them points at me, and then after that, they start posturing as if they're gonna come over to me. And one of the guys actually stopped the rest of the other two guys and I guess told them it's not that serious and to keep on walking. It was quite a surprise that seemingly people were ready to come have some type of actual altercation with me over my shirt.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but that last interaction, I'm pretty confident that that interaction was complete and utter manufactured horse shit. you're gonna have a hard time convincing me that a dude as big as he is was on the verge of being attacked by four or a couple of white dudes in the middle of the street, in the middle of Manhattan, in the middle of the day. Nope, I'm sorry, I'm not buying it. I live in New York City, Brooklyn in particular, and New York is a very liberal, diverse city. So once again, you're gonna have a hard time convincing me that you were on the verge of being a victim of a hate crime or racial act in the middle of New York City, in the middle of the day. Sorry, I'm not buying it. I think that dude is full of shit, and I'm pretty sure that anybody with common sense and knows what New York City is like will most likely not believe him neither. Getting back to that pitiful tweet Mr. Joseph put out, I'm pretty glad he actually tweeted that. Not only did that tweet get ratioed like a motherfucker, it showed us exactly what race baiting is and what white privilege isn't. Here's a few replies he got after he tried to serve us that race baiting Kool-Aid. Mr. Joseph, if by any chance you happen to come across this video, please heed my advice. If by some chance you happen to fly again and you get the privilege of sitting in an empty row of chairs by yourself, don't be afraid, man. Don't be scared. Just take your shoes off and just lie down in the seats. It's very unlikely a flight attendant is going to care, considering that you're in the middle of the air and nobody clearly is assigned to those seats. So just try it, man. If you're too scared to just do it, how about you ask the flight attendant before you do it? I'm pretty sure she's going to say, well, those seats aren't assigned to anybody, so there you go, sir. Enjoy yourself. You want a blanket? Just try it, man. Just try it. But to insinuate that a white guy laying on a row of chairs is a form of white privilege is utterly fucking ridiculous. And it is the dumbest example of white privilege I have ever seen. That's all I have to say. That's all I gotta say to you, bro. In any event, ladies and gentlemen, I thank y'all for watching and listening to me ramble about this complete and utter nonsense. Not much else for me to say, so this is Lizard K Rule and I'm out. I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.